Welcome back to Fox Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain the movie In Time, released in the year 2011. The movie opens with a prologue describing the state of affairs of the New World. Far in the future, the concept of paper money has become extinct. Instead, time has become the new form of currency. The rich have eons worth of time and are basically immortal, while the poor struggle daily to add a few more days to their lives. In this world, when humans are born, they have 26 years to live, and they stop aging after 25. As a result, there are no old people. For people to keep themselves from dying, they have to work hard and earn more time, as one would earn money. A timer is set in everyone's forearm that shows the days they have left. Segregation between the rich and poor has skyrocketed. The powerful people increase the price of basic goods daily so they can collect more time from the poor, who work hard every day to add a few more hours to their lives. The protagonist of the movie, Will, belongs to the struggling population of the country. He lives in the slums with his 50-year-old mother, who has only 3 days left in her lifetime. Will himself only has a mere 24 hours left, which means if he doesn't earn more time in a day, he will die. Rachel plans to work for the next 2 days straight so she can earn enough to pay off their loan. When she returns, she will hardly have any time left, so she wants Will to be at the bus station to lend her some time. On his way to work, Will encounters a little girl named Maya asking for a minute for charity. Will gives her 5 minutes instead of 1. He works at a factory that manufactures time-storing devices. After working hard for the entire day, he gets paid less than usual. When asked, the distributor claims that the rich have increased the daily quota of work and Will didn't reach his. Disheartened by the pay, Will heads to a bar where he meets his alcoholic friend, Boral. Boral asks him to get as many drinks as he wants because a rich guy named Henry is buying drinks for everyone in the bar. People say he has a century's worth of time on his wrist. Will is confused as to why someone like Henry would come to a club in the slums. He also notices some known criminals eyeing Henry, presumably to rob him. He goes to alert him, but the guy refuses to leave. Minutes later, a group of gangsters called the Minutemen threaten everyone but Henry to leave. Will realizes that Henry is about to get robbed. While everyone else quickly leaves, he stays there to keep an eye on them. The leader of the Minutemen, Fortis, asks one of his minions to attack Henry, who is in the bathroom. But before that, Will barges in and knocks out the man. Following that, he flees with a drunk Henry who hardly realizes what is going on. The Minutemen follow them to a certain point, but have to leave when the two disappear. Meanwhile, Henry and Will hide in an abandoned building. Henry reveals that he is 105 years old. After living for so long, he has had enough of life and doesn't want to live anymore. Hence, he irrationally came to the bar, not caring if he died. Will is baffled by the irony that he struggles every day for what Henry has but doesn't want. Henry then reveals that there is enough time for everyone in the world. However, the greedy, rich, and powerful people take them all for their own good. Will is shocked and frustrated by the revelation, but can do nothing about it. The following morning, Henry wakes up beside a sleeping Will. He donates all of his time to him, leaving himself with just 5 minutes. A while later, Will wakes up and is beyond shocked to see over a century's worth of time on his wrist. He then discovers Henry sitting on a nearby bridge. As Henry's time ends, he smiles and jumps into the river. Then, Will meets Boral and tells him everything that happened with Henry. He also gives some of his time to Boral so he wouldn't have to struggle as much. With all the time in the world, Will wants to bring equality and remove the huge time gap between the rich and the poor. After Will leaves, Boral goes to a bar to drink. Rachel, who has been working hard for the past 2 days, finally pays off her loan and goes to the bus stop. But she realizes that she doesn't have enough time to ride the bus. She starts to run back home in order to reach Will on time. However, when they finally meet each other, Rachel falls dead in Will's arms. He cries, mourning his mother's death, which could have been prevented by mere seconds. The next day, the police of the town, known as the Timekeepers, discover Henry's body in the river. When they see that he had run out of time, they assume he was robbed. The senior timekeeper, Raymond, and his junior, Jager, investigate the case. In the meantime, Will buys himself an extravagant car and designer clothes. He then drives to an exclusive neighborhood called the New Greenwich across the time zone border. He is mesmerized by the place's beauty and compares it to his hometown. When Will had less time, he was used to running everywhere. He does the same in the new town, but soon realizes that the people around him walk slowly. At night, he stays at a lavish hotel and wakes up in an expensive suit. For the first time in his life, he has a gourmet breakfast. After paying for the meal, he tips the waitress a week. She comments that Will does everything a little too quickly compared to their usual customers. Meanwhile, the timekeepers find footage of Will and Henry together before Henry's death. As they gather more details about him, Raymond realizes that he knows Will's father. Back in New Greenwich, Will enters a casino to gamble for the first time in his life. A billionaire named Felipe Weiss also happens to be there. He and Will play against each other. Will wins the first few rounds, but Felipe still has eons of time left. After winning a few more rounds against the billionaire, Will's lifetime amounts to over 2 centuries. As the table chats, Felipe talks about the gap between the poor and the rich and claims that the gap is natural. An enraged Will bids all of his time for the next round, leaving him with only 30 seconds. The table holds their breaths for the result and is left speechless when he wins yet again, earning a millennium worth of time. Felipe is impressed and intrigued by Will's personality. He notices Will eyeing his daughter Sylvia and introduces her to him. The billionaire also invites him to a party at his mansion. Will buys a new car and drives to Felipe's mansion. He doesn't know any of the people there and simply wanders around. A while later, Sylvia approaches him and starts a conversation. They dance while talking about various things. Sylvia tells him that she feels like her life is meaningless because she has no goals or aspirations. They decide to ditch the party and go outside to the nearby beach. After swimming for some time, they decide to return to the mansion and are surprised to see the timekeepers waiting for Will. Officer Raymond takes Will to a private room, where Will truthfully tells them how he acquired over a millennium's worth of time. However, Raymond doesn't believe his story. He confiscates most of Will's time and arrests him. While being taken away, Will skillfully attacks the timekeepers and holds Sylvia hostage. The two get inside his car and drive away while being followed by the timekeepers. At last, they manage to escape after hiding under a bridge. In the morning, they get into a car crash while driving on the highway. The gangster Fortis and his group find them in the crash site and steal Sylvia's time, leaving her with only 30 minutes of life. When the two wake up, Will lends her a few minutes so they can run to Borrell and ask him for a day or two. However, when they reach there, Will is informed of his friend's death, which was caused by alcohol poisoning. The two then sell Sylvia's earrings to a pawn shop for an extra 2 days. Following that, Will gets on a call with Raymond and asks for 1,000 years of ransom to be distributed among everyone in his city in turn for Sylvia. At night, he and Sylvia stay at his apartment. Will tells her about his mother who died recently and about his father who used to gamble time and share his earnings with the people who needed it. The two understand each other a lot better after the chat. It is now the next morning, but Felipe has still not kept his end of the deal. Sylvia has always known her father is a cruel man, but his greed surprises her. Even though Felipe doesn't provide the ransom, Will decides to let Sylvia go. He brings her to a telephone booth and gives her a gun as a farewell gift. They kiss before going their separate ways. Sylvia turns around and calls her father while Will walks the other way. Suddenly, she notices Raymond approaching Will and shoots the timekeeper to save him. Before running away, Will gives Raymond some of his time to save his life. Following that, the couple takes the police car and drives away. The news makes the television and is broadcasted everywhere. On being asked why she saved Will, Sylvia claims that she doesn't want to go back to her boring life. In the meantime, Felipe is in his office with his partners. They know that if he pays the required ransom to the people, the rich will stop making money because the poor won't need them anymore. Felipe is torn between his daughter's life and his business. He chooses the latter and assures his partners that he won't pay the ransom at any cost. Somewhere else, Will and Sylvia are ready to risk it all to give people what they want. They rob a time-loaning establishment and distribute the time devices among everyone. Meanwhile, Fortis sees a billboard with Will and Sylvia's picture that promises a reward of 10 years if they are captured. At night, the couple is in their hotel room when they are raided by the timekeepers. They manage to escape through the window and get in a chase with Raymond. Amidst a shootout, they board a running bus and escape. At the same time, Fortis finds out where the two are staying and goes to catch them. To give them a fair chance, Fortis challenges Will to a strong-arm match. Victory seems to fall on Fortis's side at first, but Will turns the game around at the last moment. Following that, he attacks the thugs and kills them all skillfully. Then he transfers all of Fortis's time to himself and kills him. Later, Will and Sylvia are on the rooftop from where they notice the prices of goods go up. It turns out that because of their heist, the rich are raising the price to make sure the gap between the poor and the rich is maintained. They realize that a little heist like that won't make a difference. Only a million years will. The following day, Felipe is going somewhere with his bodyguards. Sylvia distracts them and Will takes the opportunity to take Felipe hostage. They bring him to his office, where he has a time-storing device with a million years in it. When Felipe still tries to invalidate the feelings of the poor and struggling people, Will almost shoots him. He claims that immortality is not worth the life of even a single individual. As the duo leaves with the device, the timekeepers' vehicles barricade the highway. A shootout ensues, but the couple comes out of the chaos unharmed. They arrive at the town while still being followed by Raymond. Will gets out of the vehicle and hands the time-storing device to Maya. He asks her to distribute the time to everyone and sends her away. The two get into a car yet again, and the chase continues. They are caught when their car crashes in the middle of the road. Before arresting them, Raymond reveals that he worked his way up to escape poverty, but he thinks that the gap between the rich and the poor has to be maintained for society to run smoothly. Unexpectedly, Raymond's time goes up and he passes away. With only some seconds of life left, they run towards Raymond's car and receive time for one more day. In the last scene, the people from the town cross the borders to get to New Greenwich looking for more facilities. Sylvia and Will are in front of a time bank, prepared for their next heist. That was all from the video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe for more content like this and hit the like button to help us out. Also, leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Until next time, take care.